An external auditor who's turned into a car racer. On the talk this week, it's Ahmad Al Harthy joining us, and it's Ahmed with an A, not ED. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ahmed, it's been a wonderful journey, don't you think so?
It has. I mean, I think the last time we talked, it was many, many years ago, and I'm really proud and happy to still be racing wheel to wheel with so many competitors and done so many championships.
You are going to be heading towards your final race of the 2014 season in about 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, in less than 2 weeks.
Okay.
We head to Donington. That's going to be the final round of British GT, which we're currently third in the Drivers' Championship, and Oman Racing Team is currently in the lead in the championship. So it's very exciting times.
Okay, and your partner Michael Caine, how is it to have the team build up and perform and consistently have the records, you know, to maintain your performance?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this year has been very challenging, but at the same time, we've also risen to the challenge. We've had an amazing season with 4 podiums, and especially now that we're driving a new car, which is the Aston, and we've adapted so well to it. Both myself and Michael are not just the only members of the team. You know, we've got so many people surrounding the car,
yes,
and actually what you can call teamwork, all put together. So for you to win an endurance race,
maybe
for you to
almost 20, right?
in our sport, a bit less,
Yes, okay.
because we have rules and regulations that govern pit stops. But I think, you know, in the sense that I think teamwork shines more in our championships in endurance racing more than in the past, because there's so much that can work to your favor or against you. So that's why, you know, it's been great to say that we've had such a good season with all these factors.
Now, being an external auditor, I cannot imagine. Now, I know you take calculated risks, but how on earth did you think about racing?
That was many, many years ago, you know.
Yeah.
I was always thinking about racing even prior to me becoming working. Exactly. But I think it has made me stronger. It had made me stronger. I run a team for the last 9 years from scratch. So
And
definitely,
you're a pioneer. You're the first racer.
yeah, and you know
racing.
that comes with a lot of challenges as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad to say that that was, as you know, 9 years ago now, and that we're running the team in the correct way. And I think that as we grow, you know, it shows that how important it was to have got that in our foundation. And I didn't stop there. When I was racing in the UK, I continued and I did my master's in marketing, because marketing is a huge part of this.
So you actually went and studied?
I continued my studies,
Okay.
yeah. So I did my master's in marketing.
While you were racing?
While I was racing.
Fantastic.
So I think, and it had made, you know, the concept of motorsports in Oman, it helped me educate my partners more and more into this, and that was something that was very beneficial for every member.
Because expertise come in.
Yeah, you know, we are racing against now the best teams in Europe, the best teams around the world. So we have to be not just to their standards. We are trying to be better than them. From a country, you know, that alhamdulillah I was able to bring circuit racing forward. So I'm very proud to see the Omani flag and all these circuits that we're competing, and against now, you know, the best drivers in the world.
Now, Ahmed has secured an excellent second place finish in round 9 at Branhatch Grand Prix circuit, and that's why the next one is going to be even more important, because then you wrap up this for the year.
Yeah, it will be our last race. You know, I said before, it will take a miracle for us to win this drivers' championship, but there's no pressure on us going into Donington, because the pressure's on the other team and the other drivers. So I think, you know...
Why is that?
It's because they've been leading the championship and we've been catching. And mathematically it's going to be extremely difficult. But, you know, when we're in the race, every time, you know, we're always thinking of just winning. So nothing's going to be different from our side. We don't have any pressure. We just want to win.
When we think of circuit racing, we think it's all about having the best skills in driving, having you know, the confidence, and there's a bit of glamour in it as well. But actually, there's a lot of discipline.
There's huge amount of discipline. I mean, we would never be allowed to race the way we're racing without discipline. Discipline in our sport comes in many forms. You know, discipline in the pit lane, discipline and how we how we eat, how we think about racing, and how we actually, when it comes to competing against one another, there's not just discipline, there's respect. And that's something that we see a lot on the racetrack, because yes, we are racing wheel to wheel at over 200 kilometers per hour, but there's more respect on the racetrack than we see on our roads and on the public roads, which is a shame. And I think that's something that a lot of people, once they come and see and understand. I mean, if I'm speeding in the pit lane by over 5 kilometers, I can easily get hundreds and maybe into the thousands of pounds in terms of fines. You know, so I could even lose my license if I'm not disciplined. So my racing license. So that's what I mean distinguishes our sport.
What would you like to say to the young drivers and everyone else on the roads of Oman?
You know, I've always tried to keep it simple. And keeping it simple means buckling up. I know I'm going back to the extreme, most simplest thing to say.
True.
But why do I say it? I say it because I notice it, that people are not buckling up, you know. So what happens when the person behind doesn't buckle up? He can actually kill the person in front of him. So we have to come back to the fundamentals and the most simplest things to even start talking about the more complicated elements of that. But
we'd like to do a series of them. When you say buckle up, you just want the driver, the front seat person, or the back
everybody,
seaters?
You know, even me, I find it a bit difficult to buckle up when I'm in the sitting in the back seat. But it's something that's so common in Europe and everywhere around that once we train ourselves to do something, you'll find it as difficult as you not buckling up when you're not sitting in front. So I think that's one area, and I'm a huge supporter, and I really want to see it change more and more about having baby seats for infants and even all the way up to 7 years old with the boosters and so on. So it's more about these elements that I can't really focus a lot on every element of driving safer on the roads, but we have to start somewhere.
Is something everyone can do too. Drifting is something that is very popular in Oman, and it was so that it was only at the Oman Automobile Association, but now I understand from Royal Oman Police that we're going to have different areas throughout the Gumrates. What do you think about that?
Drifting falls under the banner of motorsports. It's not what I do.
You've never done it?
No, I have. It's important that I understand, actually drifting in our sport slows us down.
Yes.
So the reason why I've done it is to understand how to come out of it. You know, when the car is in a drift, you have to understand that it's not just easy just to bring it back from a skidding concept. It's a bit technical, but I think the concept of, you know, we in Oman, we love watching. I don't know who doesn't like to watch a car drift, you know, it's very rare, but it has to be in a controlled environment. And since you said that the Royal Oman Police are now focusing on more venues other than just in Muscat, that's a very positive sign, because I've seen the talent we have in Oman. There are amazing drifters out there. I'm a fan of it for sure because I enjoy motorsports, but it has to be very clear that it does fall under the motorsport banner, but it falls under a different sector. Okay,
but it's important to hear from you too, because I think having it in different areas also keeps them secured.
Of course, because the last thing we want to see is me racing on public roads. So why do you want to see people drifting on public roads? Because this is, it's not a controlled environment. It's an area where you have people of different levels of expertise while they're driving their road cars. So, you know, you're putting other people at risk. And it's a different thing. You know, I hope to see more of these venues, so then automatically the fines and the authorities come down harder on people who break the law. Same here, you know. I think that's amazing to see that it's definitely good news, and it will mean that we will have much more people represent Oman in drifting.
Very good. On that note, we have to say thank you for joining us, but we're looking forward to joining you again after the race.
For sure. It's been a pleasure as always. And
thank you so much to find out more from you.
Thank you.
Ahmad Al Harthy, Oman's own circuit racer. I'm Lakshmi Karthnath, The Talk. Thank you for joining us.